Hey guys, MoneyMan300 back for some more Project Cars videos, and this time I'm going to talk about the upcoming Xbox One patch to version 1.3. They I believe it was over the weekend, they released the patch notes. It is still not out yet, and there's not a definitive date as to when it's going to drop, only that it's in certification with Microsoft, and when they finish that certification, the patch will be made available. So no word on that yet, but in the meantime, I wanted to discuss the things that were in the patch and if this is going to make things better for the Xbox One users, and just some general thoughts on the issues that we're having in Project Cars, specifically on the Xbox One. That is the only platform that I currently have the game on. So let's jump right into it. First things, gamepads and controllers. It looks like they're going to add, there's no, and I haven't really been playing with the controller much because of the controller issue that I have, but and I noticed this kind of across the board, not just with ABS, but that either the rumble was non-existent, the haptic trigger feedback, or that it was just not accurate. Let's put it that way. So one of the things that added ABS brake rumble to the Xbox One triggers, so so that you'll get a better feel for that. So that'll be good. I think that's a good thing there, and it can be controlled with the force feedback strength and force feedback slider. So then you can control that, which is cool. Also, I think improved efficiency with the controller rumble effect. Yeah, hopefully that's better, because I found it to be all over the place. Like, it rumbled at times and I didn't think it should, and it just didn't seem consistent. So I had turned it off just because it messed me up more than it helped. So it'll be good if that's better. Fix an issue, we're moving the sticks from one extreme to the other. You guys saw that in my video. You know, if you go full lock to lock, it sometimes wouldn't turn back to the way that you wanted to and kept turning in the one direction. That's a big issue, and probably one of the bigger ones, so hopefully that'll work much better. And then the next one is rework the Xbox One analog sticks range and access dead zones. So that's another one I showed you guys. It didn't utilize or take full advantage of the whole stick. It took maybe 60-70% of it, and even inside of there, the movements weren't particularly granular, so they seemed a little harsh, which made things very twitchy. So those two things, I think, all by themselves, if they do resolve the issues that they say they're going to in here, will make the controller much better and should make it a smoother experience for driving. So I'm looking forward to those to see how that goes. On the wheel, I was really hoping we would see some stuff around the force feedback issues on the Thrustmaster TX wheel. You really got to tweak the heck out of it to get that thing to feel anything close to normal, and they've acknowledged that there is an issue and that they're working with Thrustmaster, but nothing specifically that says in here that says that although on a Fanatec wheel they fix an issue with steering jolts. So if you're having that issue, well, that should be fixed. I did see some references in the forum that there are going to be some force feedback improvements on the Xbox One, but further improvements would come through working with the individual hardware vendors themselves. So we got that. Next thing, online, it looks like they fixed a couple of crashes. Occasional crash when advancing from qualifying to race, and occasional crash when returning from a race central, or from a race to race central. I kind of hope there would be some stuff in here about, and I get that they're trying to get this one out the door quick and they're working on other ones, but you know, some other things would be the Xbox Live Party Chat issues that people are experiencing. But it looks like we do have some stability fixes in there, which will be good. They've changed the time that the time trials are run on just to match the PC platform, so it's we get the same track temperatures and everything, same types of lap times. Ghosts. Enable the saving of community event ghosts, which this is good, because if you go to the community event now that's under the driver network profile, you can't get the ghost information, and you can't download like the #1 ghost and race against them or see what they did. That's only available in time trials, so they're extending that capability into the community events, which I think is a good thing. That is needed. There's some track fixes in here. You can read through those. Corrected track info regarding number of turns and track length, and this seems to be mostly visual for the most part on Sakito, Cadwell. Yeah, I mean, you can read through those. So just general track fixes. AI fixed an issue with AI vehicles were sometimes sent to the pits due to low fuel and races where fueling's not allowed. Pit stops. Pit stop strategy will now use the actual bar value for tire pressures. I don't know what that means. I didn't know that it wasn't using those. Fix an issue where the pit engineer would repeatedly inform player that a crew member has lost. I've had that happen before. Lost wheel nut during pit stops. And fix an issue where the pit engineer would call the player to stop for fuel when fuel consumption was dipped. And I haven't ran into that because I've always had fuel consumption turned on. So you have those, and then improved some visual improvements for replays. It looks like there. And some driver network profile fix here, just kind of has some accuracy things in there. So that's everything that's in 1.3. There is more. They said they're right on the heels of this. They are working and testing on the next patch release so that they can get that one out as soon as possible. So so hopefully, if you are having issues with the game, the next couple of patches will make it better. If you are one of those people that are on the fence, is this a game I want to buy? I would hold off, right, until you see that they get these things fixed and that they work out some of the issues. I think the game itself has potential to be a very good game, but the issues, especially on the Xbox One, really hold it back from getting anywhere near its potential. It can be a lot of fun to drive. The sounds are phenomenal. The graphics, when they're not stuttering, are really, really good, and the physics for the most part are good. Although there's a lot of WTF moments that happen with the physics, and hopefully that with some of the smoothness, and we get the force feedback fixed on the TX for the Xbox One. There's just a lot of things that need to be fixed, and I think it's interesting, and you guys can read through the forums and see all the interactions with the studio head Ian Bell, other moderators and things like that, and come to your own conclusions as to whether that's the right type of interaction or not. Everybody's going to have an opinion on that, but my opinion is, and this is going to be real hard to argue, is that it could have been a better level of testing done in here. Now, I think they've said that on the dev kits they did not see these issues, so not until they got to the retail models. And for whatever reason, they don't have the capability to test on a retail model. And I thought that I'd heard somewhere, and this is total third-party information, that they used speaking of third-party, they used a third party to do their testing, is what I heard. So all I know is that you could have, on a retail version, driven one lap and known that there were some issues out there. But that's history now, and it doesn't really do any good to rehash the history of things at this point. People are going to make their decisions and their opinions on whether they continue at the game, they're patient with it, or they're going to move on to something else. That's up to each individual to decide that. I have the game. I'm not one that's going to go get a refund on it or anything like that, so I'm going to wait it out, right? I'll play other games in the meantime also, but this definitely will stay in the rotation. I have fun in single player with it. I haven't played a lot of multiplayer. But I'll stick it out. I'll wait for these couple of patches. I'll see, because I can see the potential in the game longer term. It may be an issue when they start to run up against AAA title releases here coming up in the fall, and we'll find out more about that in E3. But for now, hopefully this, now that they've got the patch notes out here, we can see some of the things that they're working on fixing, and we know that they've acknowledged other multiplayer issues and other force feedback issues and just other issues in general. Hopefully we can start to get some stability into the game and more enjoyable for everyone to be able to get on and play. So anyways, I'm going to wrap it up with that. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Later.